The Diaries of Commander Jacob Hardy. Pilot, Ares 1. The mission is a go. Crew of 3. Mihailova, Chow, and myself. Immediate departure at the next Hohmann window to Mars. The MREs and return ships will chase us out. How do I feel? I said at the press conference I felt privileged. Historians will read this diary, but it won't take their insight to tell the world that I'm terrified. It's the human reaction. What I wish I could convey is the exhilaration. That's the biggest thing. I'm not a spiritual man, but I've always believed there's something transcendent about spaceflight, something pure. We go out there because we can, because it's who we are. And now we go because we have to, because the unknown came to us. In 14 months, we'll be face to face with it, and by the time we arrive, it should be active again. Just like it was active on Jupiter and Mercury and Venus. I wonder what happens if it doesn't stop at Mars. I wonder if it'll leave us there in the sand and come to Earth and do here what it's done everywhere else. I hate that we're carrying weapons. I understand the necessity, but I hold to my belief. There's something beautiful out there. It's up to us to reach it. Everybody asks about the words. The truth is, I'm not much of a poet. Ares 1 didn't leave us with bandwidth for anything except blunt competence. We came in perilously hot, trying to select a landing site through the chaos of thickening atmosphere and turbulence that bloomed off the target. A 20-minute round-trip light-speed delay to Earth meant we could only count on ourselves. When the number 3 engine went diagnostic during the second course correction, I thought we might go catastrophic. But Xiao brought us in. Mihailova brought us in. I just flew the ship. The Ares 1 excursion vehicle was built for thin winds and icy dust. We came down into a storm, the breath of God, a ripple of change rolling down off the artifact. We aborted on 3 sites, and finally, I took us into powered hover and brought us down on reflexes and instinct. Then we ran the checklists, suited up, and left the vehicle. There was a script, and it's true, I botched it. I got my boots down and I made the most famous gaffe in human history. Said the first thing that came to mind, a warning to the others. We're walking into a rising wind. I didn't mean to say anything immortal, I just thought it'd be useful to know. The hike from Ares 1. You've watched it. Everything was recorded. I think you can get it in full immersion now and fly around like a hummingbird. I'll add what I can. The route was planned. We all went together. The CEV in Ares 1 itself had enough automation to go home alone in the event of a crew loss. Whatever we'd find at the artifact, it needed the human element. We carried rifles. They made us heavier and slower and probably less safe. I think the argument about the rifles can be left for another time. What's important is it turned out well. Look at me, look at us. You're talking to a 90-year-old man, a 90-year-old who's never been sharper. I'm miles ahead of every cognitive benchmark. What's happened to me is good. What's happened to all of us is good. When we crested that rise and made visual contact with the artifact, I don't think any one of us dared dream that it would end this well. We went to Mars at the cutting edge of human civilization, and it wasn't our weapons that won the day. It was our ship, our training, our camaraderie, our belief that if we just reached out into the universe, not to grasp for profit or security, but with an open hand, we would be elevated. We were right. That makes me so happy to this day. 3 human beings stood on a high ridge and saw the shape of the future, saw rain strike a millennia-old desert, felt the air sweeten with oxygen and warm water, and the beginnings of life. I am sometimes asked if I felt something die, the end of the era of human self-sufficiency. I don't know how to answer that question. I do know that I was changed. Nobody could experience that kind of wonder and remain unchanged. The decades since have proven that to me. I knew I'd never fly another mission like that. I recognized the need for a new love. That's why I threw my fresh cognitive skills into understanding the Traveler. How can one entity so quickly and utterly remake an entire world? 50 years later, I'm conversant in high mathematics, particularly topological thoughts and the slippery irreality of light. I'm involved in a project to study the Traveler's terraforming actions right now. But I still enjoy the interviews. I like going back to that mission. It makes me unspeakably happy to see how well it all turned out. And it makes me happy to remember I was there.